everyone and welcome back to another Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes video and to another highlight reel of Season 35 3v3. This is hopefully going to be useful as reference material for the next season of 3v3 because all the fights in here should be relevant for that next season. So hopefully you'll maybe get a new counter out of this video because there are about 50 fights in here. So first off, we do have Aurra, Mando and Greef versus crew. First Order TIE Pilot Omicron and Kylo Ren. Pretty basic counter really. Retribution helps from the Datacron because I do have a Datacron equipped. I think we do show that in a second. So that's what crew had, and then this is my Auracron, even though my Aurra is only at Relic 6 and not Relic 7. But Aura's been great in 3v3 when Bossk has probably normally been used with Zam and Dengar or something on defense, so having a second viable bounty hunter squad is very good. And I was kind of just waiting here for a kill with Mando, but I think we get a kill with Aurra there on the basic. 57 banner win. Next up we have Bam IG-88 and Kuiil versus Nute, Dooku and Jango, so obviously a full separatist team. This one's pretty straightforward really, nothing too crazy to say in terms of strategy. This time you're just trying to get to Whistling Birds, and if you can kill Nute off and Jango off the first time with Whistling Birds on the first go, that'd be obviously great because they do have a second life, and obviously Whistling Birds do prevent revives. Will got a bit of lucky there with his unique saving him, stopping him from being crit. Probably if he had been crit, he probably would have died there. IG-11 saved him. Just to let you all know as well, I am currently going through a rebrand. Obviously I am a graphic designer myself, if anyone didn't know that anyway, and I've just been going through and redrawing my logo in preparation for streaming. So hopefully I'll be doing some streams soon, mostly Grand Arena things maybe, and potentially some other Star Wars games that are coming out. I do really want to do some videos on full Jedi Survivor, the new game that's coming out in March. Try and go into some other Star Wars games because I don't know about any of you guys, but this game is kind of lacking at the moment in terms of great content to post. Most of the content I do post anyway is Grand Arena. It's probably the best thing I do like about this game. The new Total Battles is just completely awful. I don't like it at all. It's not fun to play. most of the things you do in it is just relicking up stupid characters that don't need relics. So Grand Arena is definitely the main focus probably of my channel, even though I do not take it as seriously as I probably should do. But I just like to have fun in the game and take this game more as a collection game now than trying to be competitive, because you can't really get to the high levels without investing a lot into your accounts now, but just because of all the paywalls that CG put up. So I kind of just take it as it is, try and use some funny things with like the Datacrons I've got, try things out like this with Boba Jango and Cat, which we were trying out against a Padme, Mace and a Aayla team. So we just took in a basics, gives you crit damage, offense up and crit chance. You can see Jango's just doing a crazy amount of damage there. And we've got the same team again, but this time the Scoundrel third is Nest against a similar team. Luckily we've got 2 amounts of healing immunity in this team, so we can make sure that crew and Kylo die. Both rockets on both vets actually have healing immunity on there, so very helpful for this. There goes crew once. This one I didn't actually realise that the Datacron on the team actually had a revive there for tanks. Days. Same team again, but this is against like a thin leftover team. I was trying to see if I could rocket Rey out at the beginning there, but it didn't work. Almost there. This time we took Nute instead. Let's try and find a good third for this team and try and use it more in threes next season, or the next 3 season. And just try and see if I can get something a bit more consistent that could be used against a variety of teams, that doesn't pull away from other teams. See, Nute Jango in this will probably get used against Qui-Gon Jinn with B1 if you do have a team like that to face, or haven't already beaten it with something else. We have CLS Chewpio and C3. I've been keeping them on offense more recently than putting them on defense, just because they get beaten by Savage quite easily and other teams for max banners. So I just thought it just made sense to actually take them onto offense and get max banners on my end instead of theirs. So against CLS, against Momothma, Cara and Kuiil, they do pretty well. I do think we get max banners here. I'm hoping we do. Or at least a high. Do we get 56? Yeah, because Chewpio is not going to get banners. Same team again, but against a Raddus Jyn and K2 team. Luckily, the fusion from C3PO is brilliant against Raddus because it stops them getting all those buffs that you just saw them get from the Phasmacron. Does mean you can wipe out Raddus pretty quickly. A bit unfortunate with CLS getting stunned there. Laid the kill on Raddus a bit. He's switching forms more on this because of the exposes. I don't want to get hit like Chewpio was there with a big hit of exposed damage, because that will just take too many banners away from me essentially. So using call to action when I can. Except for there because we were on a kill shot. No, Darth Revan versus Dash and Chewie and Han. This was pretty risky. As you saw, the only threat really is they go all in on Bastila, because Darth Revan can't have assist against him, so Han hitting Darth Revan is not a problem, but they can kill Bastila in some cases at the beginning, like you almost saw there. With a good Datacron with lots of health and things, you'll be fine. Well, it also depends on what the Datacron was on the team as well. So now we have a Darth Vader solo versus a Boba Fett IG-88 and Dengar. We're trying to see if I can do some more solos with him, obviously since his Datacron has expired, because I did really enjoy using him with his Datacron, but see, he is nowhere near as effective as he used to be. But we were still able to beat this team, which I think is a nice win. For 57 there. We have Emperor Palpatine, Mara, and Darth Vader team. Emperor Palpatine and Mara are probably more commonly used with Starkiller at the moment, but I've been using, especially on my solo accounts, Crew and Sith Trooper more, because I do have a Sith Trooper Datacron, and it is just a very good Datacron with my Starkiller because it stops Wampa killing him, and then that does mean I get to use teams like this on offense. It's a very easy win against this team. My first Grand Inquisitor fight. Once against Bossk Bounty Hunters. Probably the more commonly seen Bounty Hunter lineup you see on defense if no one's got Phasmacron. Or is obviously using Phasmacron on offense. You do normally seem to see Boba and Dengar. Well, at least Dengar with Bossk. There's always Dengar and Bossk together most of the time. Boba's kind of a hit and miss, and I suppose a flex option there. This is me using my Grand Inquisitor Datacron. So easy, really. I'll go for the kill shot there on Bossk. Trying to stack up more purge stacks before I use the torture ability, because you do get extra bonuses when they do have more purge. Bit unfortunate with that damage immunity though. Trying to get damage immunity in Conquest. That'd be brilliant if you have that Datacron. You're having to use Rey at the moment. To go Conquest, I should be hopefully getting Admiral Trench after the 3 conquests. This one does seem quite straightforward. Some of the feats do seem a bit of a grind, like 40 fractures in Sector 5, but that can all easily be done on the end Datacron nodes. Probably cheese it as well. Lots of the feats can be cheesed at the moment, and some of them are even broken and allowing you to do multiple feats at once, like the Sector 3 mini boss with Scav. It's working as intended, of course. Now we have my only Hondo fight of the video. This was on my solo account in one of my fights, so I wasn't able to do a full recording, but I wanted to make sure I got my Hondo fight down. And this was against a very different lineup to what you've seen before. So it was against Malgus, Malak, and Sith Marauder. The great thing about the Datacron I have for Hondo is it does allow me to get the ransom stacks up pretty quickly by doing all these specials first and then calling in Hondo to assist with Kira to then obviously he should be on 30 stacks by that point, and he should be able to get to 50 more or less. As you'll see, we'll start doing some pretty bonkers damage in a minute. Then we crit Malak for almost 400k near the end, but this is a very easy counter. It's never a good banners. Probably a better team for banners wise that I'll try and find. Because obviously Kira and L3 do normally die, and it's just normally left with Hondo at the end. But it's kind of the only unfortunate thing with Malgus is big leech doing a lot of damage. There really isn't any way to prevent him from doing that other than captive, but you obviously can't keep that on him the whole time. Had the fears from Malak's unique as well coming in here. Every time he's crit, it's been really annoying, so it's obviously delaying Hondo's turns. Trying to keep Malgus captive and then using our other abilities on killing the others. Was tempted to go for Malak there, but I don't want to go to get any fear, so I thought we might as well try kill Malgus first and get him to be the sacrifice for the Datacron revive. This time I was like, I'll captive Malak and then I'll keep going after Malgus to kill him once. Nice dodge because of the foresight we had. We just kill Malgus and then I believe we do quite a big hit here to kill Malak. Yeah. Bring your 78k. Then we have Hunter, Tech, and Echo versus a Qui-Gon Jinn, Jedi Anakin, and Cam team. This is pretty high relics, I believe. Cam and Jedi Anakin are relic 8, and Qui-Gon Jinn is relic 7. My Bad Batch are relic 5. So what I tend to do is I always tend to go for Anakin to begin with, and then keep him stunned. And if you can keep him stunned and kill Qui-Gon Jinn there, obviously it skips his bonus turn. You just have to be able to kill him quickly. Usually he'd be a lot lower than what he was. He'd probably be at red health there before I'd want to go after Qui-Gon Jinn, but unfortunately I didn't get the nice hits that I wanted. We're able to get them under control. I believe this is a full banner win. I want to say this is a full banner win. Yep. A nice big heal there to finish. 7. Now we have Hux, first of all type Phasmacron, and Phasma with her Datacron against a Bossk Tusken Omi team. Phasma has really not been as much use on for me, at least. on offense or defense in 3v3 with her Datacron. I just don't find the use on 3v3 is that good, because obviously the termity gain and things and the limited amount of numbers you can do in 3v3 really doesn't help her a lot, because you kind of do really need like the old Kylo in here to boost some more turn meter, which is obviously only available 5v5, because without a decent lead it can be quite difficult. You probably could run Phasma, Kylo, First Order TIE Pilot or something like that, but I don't really like Phasma's lead. I don't think it's very good compared to the likes of like Hux or Crew or just another First Order lead that's just generally better than Phasma's. We're able to get 55 there, and obviously Phasma hurting herself every time she takes a turn is really bad for banners, but we did go again. This time against a Finn Resistance Heroes team. I want to say we get better banners here, but I cannot remember. We get 55 maybe. Just kind of made me wonder now watching this whether Phasma could be quite good with another like faction that's still dark side, that still get the benefits from the Datacron, and then you can obviously boost their turn meter using Phasma's middle special. I don't know, we'll see. This one's probably the most common First Order TIE Pilot Omicron team you'll see. This was against a Maul team with a weak Canderous. The reason why we took it just so we can kill those right at the beginning before Maul even took his first turn, and then Retribution's there to save the day for 54. Now we have a bunch of Jedi Knight Luke with Lumi Omicron fights. So this one is against Raddus Omicron with Cassian and Jyn. I've actually been enjoying using Luminara more than what I previously mentioned in my highlight video where I did include her, because it's been finding better teams to use her in. The main team that you do tend to use her in is kind of more or less Jedi at the moment. I do think she's going to be really good with Rey on defense in 5v5, and with Jedi on offense, or with JML or something like that on his team, because as you'll see, the mana recovery on the team with Luminara Omicron is really good, and my Luminara on my Giants account is Relic 7, but that's purely because we needed one for platoons and I'd already had a Relic, so I got the task of Relic 7 Luminara. But that does mean her health is super high now. She's over 100 and around 110k health, so I want to say something like that, which obviously means the healing she does on her special, which has got the Omicron ability on, does a lot more, which is obviously going to help. Bit unfortunate there with Jyn getting a revive, but we're able to kill Raddus again before he does his Hope ability. And now we just got to try and wait for Luminara to get a heal to cleanse all the debuffs off us. So here's a nice heal. Just a really great thing about Luminara there. Without her in this team, we definitely wouldn't have got full banners, because we had no way of cleaning off that healing immunity. And now we have something a bit different. This is a Jedi Knight Luke, Luminara and Mace counter against Malgus. Not the most common Malgus team you see on defense, because Sith Empire Trooper is here. Normally it'd be like Talon or something like that. That'd probably be the most common lineup I'd say I see on defense a lot, at least. But the reason this works so well is because you have double ability block. So if you might have forgotten, Mace obviously has an ability block on his basic, which is brilliant, and then Luminara has a backup ability block with her first special. And because of her high evasion from her mastery and the evasion up from her basic, she can dodge quite a lot of the hits. So if Malgus decides to leap onto Luminara, sometimes it'll miss. And obviously her heal with the Omicron is a great way of recovering banners. So I do believe we get a decent amount of banners in this fight. And this is against a Relic 8 Malgus with all 3 Omicrons. Almost lost Mace, but that's only because my Mace is pretty low on relics compared to this team that we're facing. If I'd lost Mace there, I definitely would have lost. So it does require your whole team to survive. It says that obviously a risk of RNG with most counters, but this one is quite very RNG heavy. It does say if you're using a Galactic Legend or something like that, but it does take quite a while. Eventually figured out if I just kept Malgus ability blocked, I'd be fine. Trying to hit him when I can. Putting in Mace to assist for ability block. Fortunately, we got dodge there. Seeing if he had ability block, try and go for that ability block again, which we do get, which is brilliant. We got the fear on us from the Omicron there. He hitting someone below 50% health. They're going to Sith Empire Trooper. Goes Marauder. Nice dodge from Luminara there. Go for a heal there rather than ability block, because I need Mace probably going to take his turn. To get a ability block there, which is nice. Yeah, now we just got to whittle down Malgus. Hopefully do enough damage to kill him. Double ability blocks definitely does help here. Obviously Luminara's Omicron has helped a lot in terms of keeping everyone alive and banner recovery. There we go for maximum banners. Over Gen Raven versus a Raddus team again. It's obviously with the Omicron as well against Cassian and Jyn. As you'll see, I'm trying to show some datacrons when I can or remember to, but when I'm in the fight, usually I just get distracted and completely forget about showing the datacrons. But most of the time, it doesn't really play a major impact, and sometimes you can actually see the what the datacron does throughout the fight. So, like Retribution, you can obviously see that on the screen and things. Most of the time, it is just stat boosts. See, if you know a team relies so heavily on a stat, obviously giving the extra boost to those stats. For example, I don't know, potency with like Bad Batch for landing the stuns and things like that. That's quite obviously very good to just take as an extra boost. Kind of simple things like that, really, where there's no like tenacity and health with Wampa makes him so much better, and just kind of simple things like that, really. Probably a reason why I don't show my datacrons as much as I probably should do. So like here, probably don't show the datacron. Might do actually, because they do have datacron as well. This probably just be like a health and crit damage boost, nothing too crazy. Obviously it would have been all dark side orientated, so we get no bonuses from the level 3s or 6s. I doubt it would be very higher than level 3. Oh, it's a level 6, okay. I'll take that back. Obviously, LV is not as good as he used to be. He definitely has some setups with like the protection update Datacron and things where he can be sometimes really annoying. Especially since the Nihilus, Traya, and Sidious counter has been nerfed like completely. It doesn't work at all now. So it'll be interesting to see what he's being used against him going forwards, especially in 5v5. But obviously when 3v3 comes around as well, that'd be interesting to see what's actually being used with him or against him. So these fights are pretty straightforward. We're just going up the sides, kill them as soon as possible, that we can go all in on LV. So trying to keep my team alive when I can. The dots do quite a bit of damage to me. Yeah, 66 there, well 56. Now we have something you would have seen before. We use on my solo videos, my Grand Arena videos that is. And that is JMK CAT and Wat versus the Rey Ben setups. This time obviously with Hondo, which is less optimal. Probably you would normally see the Hermits line up with Rey, Hermit and Ben. The great thing is about this is if you don't have a level 6 Datacron with the rentable revives, you can actually take in Wat, give weapon tech to Cat, and then whenever you use the leap onto Ben like we do here, he can't be revived because of the weapon tech from Wat, so pretty good. But definitely should have basicked Rey there with the inspiration stacks. Misplay from me, but luckily we were able to get rid of them before she does her ult. I think we can wipe out Rey pretty quickly. It is not great banners because the whirlwind from Rey does always tend to go for Wat. I don't know why, it just seems to be coded that way, and you can't save Wat really because he is dark side. Not Galactic Republic either. Okay, so now we have a JML fight with Jedi Luke and Luminara Omicron again. So this just showing a different team that you can use her with if you do happen to have a Luminara Omicron. So same thing here is quite nice for her special ability block against Supreme Leader Kylo when we can get there, but heal there. Fortunately, SWGOH got rid of all of our buffs there, so we didn't get any benefit from the healing over time, which would have recovered our protection, but able to ability block earlier there is really good. Now we go for another heal. I believe because of that heal we do get, where's max mana? We do get max mana, so that's good. Now JML solo counter versus Qui-Gon Jinn Omicron. This is with Mace and Jedi Anakin. So this one's very straightforward because as soon as you take a Galactic Legend against Qui-Gon Jinn, it does cancel out his Omicron. It's basically just fighting normal Qui-Gon Jinn Lee, which is useless. So you would just kill Anakin right at the beginning without even needing to kill off Qui-Gon Jinn. It's just a case of going around killing the others. Probably could do this on full or so at this point, but I'll just 100% manually play it just in case. Now we have JTR BB8 and Rose Omicron versus Bam, Kuiil and IG. So I have obviously applied Rose, as I mentioned in my State of My Accounts episode, that I was just wanting to try her out, and I was kind of hoping to build up Zori on my Jarvis account to then give her Omicron and then give them a run on in Grand Arenas. So like I mentioned earlier, I'm just doing things more for fun than probably what makes the most sense. Especially on my Jarvis account where Grand Arena doesn't matter too much. I just tend to enjoy using different things, which I think is like super important. So I saw a really good video, I think it was from the Gerbil, talking about how we should probably think about playing the game, and especially now with like datacrons and things, about not wearing yourself out by trying to constantly chase the meta and things, and just doing things that you tend to enjoy. So even if that means like relicking up Farm Boy or something like that, just enjoy the game and have fun with it. Don't fret too much about the competitive side of the game. See, a lot of meme characters that you can use in Grand Arena can be beneficial for your guild in territory battles as well, so there's that as well. And now we have a very strange fight. I do speed this up because it does take a while, but this is a LV counter versus Dash Bo and Hondo with Hondo Cron. Pretty big. Yeah, it's definitely Hondo Cron. But this takes absolutely ages to be able to chunk through Hondo's bonus protection. So as you see, I do put this on, I think it's on 2 or 3 times speed, because it just takes absolutely ages to get through him. Because essentially all we're doing is just ramping up damage with LV to get to enough to be able to obviously hit through all his bonus protection and eventually kill him. So we are working up our, can't remember what the blue unique buff is for LV. Like Dark Harbinger, I know that's one of his abilities, I don't know if that's what it's actually called, but getting to 60 obviously increases his max damage he can do. But obviously with only Hondo hitting us, is quite difficult to get to those stacks pretty quickly, so I just put it on full auto as soon as we kill the others, and then all you've got to do is pray and hope that your LV stacks up enough mastery to eventually kill Hondo. So as you see, it's getting pretty low down on the clock. We did get him down in the yellow, which is a good sign. We're getting to enough damage. Pretty bonkers, really. Grand Arena Galactic Legend against a normal Galactic Legend. We kill him here. 30 seconds left on the clock. Way too close, but we do get 59 banners from that, so that's good. Now we have another LV fight sped up a little bit, and this is the same principle as the last one, where this is LV versus Rey, Hermit and Ben, so probably the most commonly used team on defense. And if you just put the fight on full auto to begin with and you have a decent datacron and things, you can get maximum banners here, or get a good win for a relatively cheap cost, I suppose. So the dispel from Ben is quite annoying for our protection up stacks, but it is. I'm trying to manually target as well. Obviously when Rey goes to 50%, make sure I'm hitting Ben, just because that dispel is proving to be a bit annoying. Every time I try to go for a kill shot, I hit Hermit, heals him up though, but we're able to kill Ben there. Borrow an ultimate as well, so he can't come back. Now we just got to kill Rey, and that'll be the end of the fight, and we get another maximum banner win there. we have Maul, Canderous, and Bam versus a Bossk, Sam, and Boba team. My Giants can as well because I was tending to use LV on offense, so it did mean I get to use Mandos as well, which is going to be a lot of fun. At least probably on my solo account, which I'll probably be using him with Canderous Datacron, because I do have a Red X7 Canderous now on my solo account, so I can actually use his Datacron that I've got for him, which should be hopefully good for us on defense, and we might even take it on offense a little bit. The only problem with this team, it doesn't have very good banner recovery. The only banner recovery you have is through Bam, and that's kind of only really happening when you trigger his unique. So when you get a, or would have been a 54 there, because I probably took something else against that beforehand. This one's relatively straightforward. You just gotta hope that Cara doesn't get gunned down, or Kylo doesn't get gunned down right at the beginning. But if you can kill first order TIE Pilot relatively quickly, you should be fine. Just leave Hux for last. See, my Red X3 Cara is not probably the most optimal thing to take for this fight, but let's get the job done still. Okay, Sith Trooper, then we've got to just try and recover some banners where we can. I don't think we get full banners here, but try and get close. Obviously, I'm a bit unfortunate that I haven't got my Gen Light ability, so using that middle saber throw here, it's not optimal because I cannot recover health and protection on the rest of my team. I can do a bit of a banner recovery there. Unfortunately, as soon as I got my Gen Light ability, Hux died, so we only got 54 there. Right, now we have that Nute Jango B1 counter that I talked about earlier against another high relic team. So a lot of people I've watched play this completely differently. What I tend to do is try and extort Jedi Anakin at the beginning, but I know a lot of people tend to extort Qui-Gon Jinn. The only reason I tend to go for extortion on Qui-Gon Jinn on Anakin and then increase his cooldowns there is so that he is very low, and then when he gets his bonus turn, what he tends to do is clear the extortion, which is what he did there, so he didn't actually nuke us. So we're obviously quite fortunate with that. And you just got to try and hopefully kill him before he does too much damage, which you do there. So we're able to get a decent amount of banners from this fight. I can't remember the exact banners, but I think it's pretty good. Oh, I got 57, okay, I'll take that. Then we have a couple of PAM fights, as I like to call this team. The Padme, Ahsoka, and Mace. This one's against Grand Inquisitor Kron, Ninth Sister, and Seventh Sister. I do have another fight against a similar team, but obviously with Eighth Brother instead of Ninth Sister. But ideally in this, what he wanted was the Shatter Point to actually land on Grand Inquisitor, and you can kill him. Oh, it's against a Seventh Sister Datacron instead, so that's something a bit different. Ideally, you'd want the Shatter Point to land on Grand Inquisitor, then you can just kill Grand Inquisitor right off the bat, especially when it's his Datacron. But because of the courage, they can't really do anything against the courage, so they're able to get through this quite easily. Trying to hit the Shatter Points whoever it goes on. This Datacron I took, so obviously extra health on Padme team is really beneficial because it does help with your courage and to general survivability, because you do get 50% max health from Padme's lead, so any extra is obviously going to really help. Now we have same team, obviously extra health as well from the Datacron against a GG, Magna and B1 team. I don't know what it is about this team, I just really enjoy using it, especially in the 3v3 format. I just think it's really great. And a relatively cheap counter for a lot of teams as well, so it does make the best use of characters that probably be sat on the bench, because Ahsoka doesn't really get used a lot with like JMK as she probably would have 5v5. And same with Padme, and then Mace is kind of good like flex character for 3v3. He does have a lot of uses in a lot of teams that you've seen been using already with like Gen Knight Luke, and sometimes he can fit in like a Star Killer team if you really want to. But I think his most and best used is with Padme. It was kind of I'm in an hour on whether who to go after. Thought we would have had enough stacks to kill B1 there, but my math was off, so took him down to 1 stack and then he got some back. But luckily we triggered, well, kind of I suppose unfortunate that we killed both of them at once, because we did just trigger 2 bonus turns from Grievous because he just took back-to-back turns. But we do get decent balance still for 56. Same team again, Padme, Mace, and Ahsoka versus a Cara, Aayla, and Mothma team. This one's obviously very good because we can dispel the potency up from Cara, so we can kill her pretty quickly. Go for the shat point hit though. Then we can just basic Cara to finish her. And go after Kuiil. Unfortunately, more often does get a breathe off, but it's not really much of a issue. See, all their attacking out of turns is giving us a lot of protection up because of Padme's unique. Nothing happened again. We've got the red health. Didn't manage to get enough big hits in to kill her. Killed her though. Probably could have just finished with a basic there, but we're heal instead for any mana recovery. Now we have a fight against Grand Inquisitor Kron, so definitely see good use of the team here. Obviously the optimal team would be, oh no, this is against 5th brother. I forgot it wasn't 8th brother. This was actually quite annoying to fight against because 5th brother has that AoE dispel, which seemed to always time up no matter what I did with when I did my protection up ability from Padme. So trying to build up the courage stats was really frustrating, and I do believe we did try to go for second scissor first, but then I was kind of like, 5th brother's been more annoying, so we'll go after him instead. This almost works as an anti-Padme team. And luckily I've got decent enough mods and relics on my guys to keep them alive. But you watch, I'll do a heal here, then 5th brother's next go. Oh no, I didn't actually use it that time. Oh, here you go, there you go. All my protection up just gone. One ability. Desperately just trying to kill 5th brother. Hitting shatter points when I can. But yeah, I did protection up there, and then yep, another AoE dispel. I was like, come on, just like give me a break. Let me kill you first before you then do a dispel. Like 3 minutes just trying to kill 5th brother because he does get a lot of health and protection regen his kit. I think it's from his kit, but he definitely gets a lot of like health regen, I know. Well, look at that. More protection up and then it instantly dispelled. I think it's just a case of I didn't know what the cooldown was on Fifth Brother. If I'd known what the cooldown was on his AoE, I could have timed it better to actually try and obviously prevent Fifth Brother from dispelling it straight away. So as you see, the first time we get these amount of curry stacks, we're just one-shot Fifth Brother there. So not great banners, only 53, but we got the job done. Now we have a Kira Nest counter versus Nute Jango, and I believe a weak Decker. A gear 12 Decker, only gear 12. My Nest is only, my Nest is relic 5, my Kira is only gear 10 I think on my Giant's count, so she's only there for the lead ability obviously, which is just protection recovery to help keep Nest alive. With a weak Decker, I probably wouldn't take this against a stronger Decker, because if they are like gear 13 and you catch you in the open like that, they would probably kill you. It depends on any Dacon you're taking or the mods, as most things do these days. But for everything else, this works out quite well. Straightforward, really. Not great banners, but 54 and use of obviously less tunes is great. We've got C Solo versus a Dash L3 and Vandor team. One's quite straightforward as well, literally just waiting for ultimate. So I just put this on full auto. I can't remember if I take it off again, because C's AI is a bit weird with like relinking characters. Relink the same characters I wanted to be linked, so that worked quite well for us. Now pop ult, and then it's literally just one hit, I think. No, we've got kill Vandor, but difficult. Should get a 58 here. Yeah, that would have been a 58. Now another C solo, this time against a Malgus, Darth Revan, and Bastila team. Same thing like the last one. Literally just waiting on getting to ultimate. I'm linking up Malgus and Darth Revan here because Bastila's a lot easier to kill on her own than the other two are. And I'd probably say that Malgus and Darth Revan both do the most damage, especially Darth Revan. No point using the protection recovery there because we've got doubt on us. With doubt you can't recover any protection. Probably would have used it there if I was able to. Shock doesn't prevent healing on protection. You see there. And we're going to go into ult. Our cooldown's increased, unfortunately, obviously ability block being really annoying, but eventually get to our ultimate. Or the big pop explodes, here we go. And goodbye. Let's kill Bastila. IG-88. Do the same thing again on full auto against a Imperial Troopers team, which is very uncommon to see on defense, but I just wanted to provide this footage to show that you don't even need to take C really, you could probably take something else. Wasn't then die to the first moves that Ket probably does, but very easy team to kill on defense, but if you don't have Dark Trooper, I suppose it can make sense to put them on defense. Now we have a similar counter, but this time we're using Wat for the extra banners, but then it also really depends on the datacron that you have and how the team is modded, really, whether you need to take Wat in at all or not. Most of the time, depending on the level you play at, and obviously your opponent's mods and things, you probably don't need to take Wat with you. You can just run with C on his own, as long as you do have like some sort of like boost for his health or something like that on a datacron, or just got him really well modded, have lots of health anyway. You should be fine against this team with him on his own. But I just wanted to provide a reference to nice for you to see how that works with Wat as well. Obviously you are giving the shield tech to C. You lose Wat there, so it is worse banners than it would be on solo, but obviously you're just running more risk with him being on his own to potentially dying. We are for A55. Then we have, I think I've got a good selection of SLK fights versus Jabba. I don't think this is the only one I've got. I think I've got one more after this. Pretty sure, I can't remember. But anyway, this is a SLK Fost and Wat counter versus Chrysanthemum, Bush and Jabba. So the great thing about using Fost in this team, especially in a 3v3 lineup, is that his Zeta, obviously it can allow him to call in an assist, which only means that Kylo can assist, so that does mean a lot more damage output, which you see here, which I do think lines us up quite nicely to kill off Chrysanthemum on Kylo's next go. Obviously a big poke there that stops him from reviving from either the datacron or from his unique. Obviously any kills with SLK on his turn is a preventable revive. So you don't have to deal with Chrysanthemum again. That's just the case of killing Jabba at the end. Right, go to our ultimate. Go for a poke to get rid of that protection up. Another poke again. To finish A54. I know, so that must have been the only SLK fight I had. Just been thinking of some of my Grand Arenas. So we do have a couple of fights here against LV. This one's with crew and first order officer. Obviously SLK is very good against LV at the moment, but he's also very good against Jabba and other teams, so it's more of a case of just using what the best possible scenario is for yourself. LV is probably going to be even more annoying now, especially if you had Trey Omicron and we're using her to kill LV. You're probably going to have to think more about what you're going to use for counters, especially with next season coming around. 5v5, not necessarily just 3v3. Kind of really the same as always. Just build up your siphon stacks, poking, siphoning away from Lord Vader, and then just ramping up as much damage as you can to eventually kill him. That is the idea. Obviously now without his Datacron, you do have more of a chance of keeping your team alive. But it is very likely that especially your squishies like First Order Officer will die on the side just because of the dot damage. Not really much you can do about that. Luckily the damage immunity did help us out a little bit in keeping our First Order Officer alive a little bit longer. Dodge there from LV. We do lose our First Order Officer in a minute. The fortunate thing is that crew can't take any damage from Dot, so the only time we can actually damage him is when LV actually hits him. Back into ultimate and we kill LV for a 52, so not great balance. Now we have a similar team, but this time instead of First Order Officer we've got Wat here. Bit of an unfortunate fracture on crew. I mean, I suppose that's probably better than it going on SLK, so I probably won't complain too much about that. But because we don't have a tank here, we just got to try and kill Maul as quickly as possible. Obviously stopping him from doing too much damage to us. So we're trying to kill Maul as quickly as possible. Fortunately got a dodge there, which is really annoying. If that had hit Maul, we probably would have killed him. Luckily we get another turn in before he gets to go, so able to kill Maul there. Now we just got to go after Thrawn. Lord Vader. Probably should have sped this bit up. Eventually get him. I didn't realise this fight went on for so long. Yeah, tanky LV. I've put it on full auto now because I was getting sick of playing it, so I was probably just screaming at my game here, like, come on, why will you die? Take some damage. Obviously him healing up every other turn is not fun. Yep. Yeah. Nice big poke there to finish for a 61, 51 in that case. Now the SWGOH solo versus a Jango like leftover bounty hunter team. Just something that I was able to use. Fortunately, when I got to a back wall, and there was just Scav teams in the back. So nothing really to say here. Straightforward, really. Now another SWGOH solo, but this time against C, with quite an odd team with Crew and Tarkin, who don't really have much synergy with C at all. So I'm not really too sure what the thought process was with this team. Great thing about solos here is with the SWGOHs that we can, especially against C, stop him from linking up. And we have a bunch of fights with Traya. I want to say without her Omicron. I don't think I have Omicron on my Jarrett's count, and these are Jarrett's count fights, I believe. So this one's relatively straightforward. Sorry if you can hear my dogs barking, by the way. They've seen a bird in the garden. The help I hate relatively quickly. Obviously, it's very unusual to see a 7 sister team, especially as her in the lead. But obviously, as you just saw there, it does give them a bit of extra evasion. To annihilate, there's definitely no Omicron on this team because we would have loads of protection up already if we didn't have it. Obviously, 7 sisters. Akron is actually quite nice, but you end up using her most of the time with Grand Inquisitor, and obviously Grand Inquisitor is probably better, so Seven Sister probably doesn't get as much use as it would do. I suppose unless you actually don't have Grand Inquisitor, then Seven Sister is probably the best. Well, I would probably say she's actually the best Akron you can get for Inquisitors out, if you don't have Grand Inquisitor, that is. Worth looking at getting if you do have your Inquisitors built up, or waiting for the next round of Grand Inquisitor to come around. Kill second sister there. 7th sister. I get my numbers mixed up now. 55 there. And we have another fight again without the Omicron. Standard Traya team against CLS Chewpio and C3. So you can see out of turn assist, C3 just Chewpio kills himself off pretty quickly. And isolate Commander Luke and kill off Chewpio. A nice big hit to kill. CLS there for what will be in a 53, not 33. Now same team again, but this time against a Cara KK team. No Omicron on Traya. You isolate Cara, obviously stop her from getting her potency up so she can't revive. And just stop her from taunting as well, so you can go after Kuiil. The thing it does stop is her attacking out of turn, which obviously that means we do have to do more damage to her because she's not dealing damage to herself by attacking out of turn, of course, from Traya's lead. helped by hatred, which is nice. Basically there to kill Kuiil. It's getting way too close for comfort here, really. And I was trying to see if I can actually recover some banners, so I went for a rain there to kill my Mothma. Feels like if I can leave it and try and recover some health at least and get 54 here, I'd be pretty pleased with that, but whether we actually get it or not. I think we do. That would be 54. And now we have some Tusken fights. So I did apply Tusken Omicron as well as part of this my have fun movement, I suppose, on my JMK account. So I did apply Rose and both Tusken Raiders as well. It's unfortunate that Tusken Raiders can't be used in 5v5 as well, but I did have a lot of fun using it in 3v3. And so this time we're taking against a Bo, Maul and Jango team. I just can't believe how much damage they actually do. It's pretty nuts. So we're able to kill this team quite easily. Well, I would think in terms of, you think about, you're killing stuff with Tuskens, it's quite easy, I suppose. Got very lucky there with the Jango rocket. If the Jango rocket had killed both my Tusken Raiders in that hit, I would have been very sad because we probably would have lost the fight. Fortunately, they both survived, so we're able to get a nice win here. Not going to be great balance because there's no protection and recovery, but the fun factor is definitely up there. That'll be at 54 here, so just full health. Then we have another fight using Tuskens, this time against the Shakti, Echo and Arc team. I'm not really too sure what goes on with the Omicron on Tusken Raider, because sometimes the Tusken Raider doesn't seem to revive, even though there doesn't seem to be any sort of like preventable revive on the team. Not sure whether it was this fight or the other one. I'm assuming there's a preventable revive on Arc's turret. Unless that is just a bug and he's actually meant to come back. Don't really know. I'll need to check Arc's kit to see whether the turret does have preventable revive, because I didn't know that was actually a thing. If it does. If it doesn't, then obviously that is probably a bug. You get 54 there again. We have Veers, Arc and Piet versus a Malak and Resistance Heroes team. Very odd team. I think it's just the fear is meant to be there to stop you from doing so much damage. I thought I might as well try and go for Malak straight away. Probably a bad decision. I should have just gone for the sides. I just went for a basic on Malak. Kill Finn first, then we go after Poe. Just a lot easier to kill Malak when he's on his own. That'll be at 56. Now 2 more fights. Other Veers, Piet and Dark group fight, this time against Pam, Padme, Ahsoka and Mace. That was quite a good counter. I think I get 56 in this. Unfortunately, we got stunned there on Dark Trooper. Gonna slow this down a little bit. And now we just have one Wampa fight, which is going to be against a Mothma without even her Zeta, so it's pretty straightforward really. But I do hope you have enjoyed this video and that you can obviously use the chapters that I've put down to use this as reference material for future 3v3 seasons, especially the one that's coming up in, well, I suppose, a month's time now, because I still have all the active Datacrons in this. So I hope you have enjoyed watching. If you have, a like and comment is always much appreciated, and don't forget to hit that sub button down below, and I shall catch you in the next one.